Wow. Wow. I don't know if I'll archive this one, but I mean, I guess I did if you're hearing this right at the beginning. Yeah, this probably won't be a long stream either. But, yeah. I like streaming, it's fun. So, that's what I'm doing here. Trying to raise my consistency up here. Ew, hover bounce, gross. Ooh, still got up with that amount of boost, okay. And it ate my slide input, cool. That was a strange one, and I didn't make it. Aww. It was too strange. The timings were off. Yeah, I really gotta practice this part. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be opposed to speedrunning other games. But yeah, I've always prided myself in my movement in Call of Duty games. Advanced Warfare, I was phenomenal. I learned all the tricks way before other people. I've always been really good at specific technical skills and understanding the logic behind them, as well as just anything logic-based in video games. But yeah, I do want a 124. I am serious about that. Whether or not that feeling will go away, I have no clue, you know. But as of lately, I want to return because in a way, anything that you're doing for a game, like, people go back to very old games to speedrun them. Like, why can't I go back to this? Oh, I wanted to restart, but I guess we're continuing. I wanted to fault myself to start back at the thing. Yeah, let me try to get good glass here, because it can be very important to get good glass. Ooh. Oh, I wanted a third strafe. I left a little bit of boost, but not quite enough. But that was good glass. Wasn't quite as good as I want, but oh. Oh. Ew. Yeah. Yeah, I almost got a 123 once. Maybe even a couple times in this. Like a high 123, maybe even a low would be possible, but that would be, that would be very optimistic. Okay, so I was playing this just a little bit before now. My fingers are still pretty cold, but I'm actually pretty consistent. I want to do a better job during the stream of resetting the game to make sure that it stays consistent and that my rhythm stays consistent with the game. Because the more that you run the game, the longer or the less consistent it'll be. And if I get used to that inconsistency, to try to make that consistent, then when it is consistent, I'll be less consistent at using the consistency, So I want to restart early and often to to make sure that I am the most consistent always. Ew, gross. Yeah, is it lagging for anyone else or just? Okay, let me do something quick. Okay, that alone might help it. Let me also do one more thing. Yeah, 137. Honestly, that might have beat mine. I have a really bad alpha. I want to say it's a low 137. It might be still beating you. Yeah, I would do alpha again, and I would have done alpha again a long time ago, but it just, I don't know. Alpha's fun and refreshing, but it's not something I want to try very hard in, like Blackout. Ooh, got a little bounce there. Rubbed the edge. Just a little bit. And tell me if it keeps lagging and I'll try to fix it even further. But it should be better now. But honestly, the settings that I changed might need a restart to be in full effect. So I didn't have enough boost to jump the gap there immediately, like normal. That was awkward, but panicked a little bit. I honestly don't mind that the times have surpassed me, that people have surpassed me. Even if I never get, or you know, I might care if I never get a 124, but if someone beats me in the future on Blackout, I still won't care too much. I care more personally. I care more inward than outward. Ooh, that one was very good. I got a lot of bounce speed for this. If you get far enough on this landing, you can land like right here and not slide and go forward, which is very good. Okay, I'll restart the stream then. Actually, hang on. Yeah, I'll restart the stream, I think. Hang on, I want to make sure that it'll be fine. Whatever, who cares? Okay, restarting the stream. I'll have this archived, I guess. Okay, let's see how this goes. Ooh, gross. Ugh, ooh, ooh. Okay, it's showing on YouTube that the stream resumed. I didn't know that that was the thing. I was hoping maybe, because that makes it a little bit better. So that's good. Hello, everyone. Everyone joining in. Yeah, to be honest, there's maybe even one more thing that I can do to improve the quality. After changing the settings, I should have probably also restarted OBS as well, because of one of the things I changed. It might make it a little bit more consistent anyway, but whatever. Yeah! Yay, that was good. I wonder. Let me, Nah, never mind. I use an Elite controller, but I took off the paddles because I play Claw, and Claw is better than using paddles. Because paddles are inconsistent. As you guys can tell, I'm a consistency freak. I really like things to be consistent. But yeah, I really like the Elite controller. It's very nice, very well built, except when it eventually breaks in certain ways that it can break. But overall, it's very good. It's very good. Ooh, got a thrust bounce there. I really hate thrust bounces and hover bounces. Like, really, game? Just pick one. Don't do both. Just pick. Just pick one. But, yeah. Oh well. I wonder what the most consistent way to do this is. I used to be super consistent sometimes. Depending on the day. Back in the day. I was almost good, but I used too much boost. Ooh. That was slightly interesting. Oh, almost missed that. Ooh. But yeah, one of the good things about the Elite controller is the settings you can do. I use tight plus triggers, which I made myself. Let's see what the thing do. Okay, so on the left stick, I have a special setting here where you can see what's happening if you pay attention slightly. And same with the right stick. If you can... Yeah. So I have a special setting that makes the analog sticks work slightly differently. Helps my accuracy a little bit. Little bit. So basically I'm a cheater. But it has its drawbacks too. Don't worry. It's not overpowered or anything. But I like it. It's nice. It makes the one controller feel a lot more like the 360, which I loved. I love the 360 controller. It was built so well. And was built in such a way that provides for a really nice skill gap that made me better than other people because I knew how to use that controller properly. Whereas this one's a little bit too easy to use properly in some ways, but then it's also too loose, and having the tight setting makes it feel tight, even though it's not actually a physical thing, it's a software change, but it makes it feel a lot more reminiscent of the 360 controller, which is why I like it. But yeah, let me know if you guys like this kind of thing and you want to see it often. And if you want to see me do streams of other games or other stuff like this kind of format. In the future, I might add music occasionally, but I think I gotta be a little bit careful with what I do for that. On Twitch, I don't have to be so careful, but I think on YouTube, I just want to be sure about certain things first. You tell him, Brooks. Ugh, bad start. Yeah, one thing that I've always wanted to test in this game that I never got around to testing is, even though different characters have different, like, it's pretty obvious at this point between the top people that different characters have different attributes for their abilities. It's just very slight changes in the thickness and acceleration of the jumps. Nothing that actually transfers directly into speed, but or at least nothing like run speed. Anyway, nothing super direct. But it's pretty well known at this point that Seraph is pretty much the best. You pretty much want to use Seraph. There are other characters that are good for certain things, but I don't think people have really looked into that too much because free run's basically dead. But what do I know? Maybe people do know stuff. But what I've wanted to test is whether or not using the Annihilator, or like what specialist weapon, the Annihilator or combat focus, changes anything too. I don't think it does, but yeah. But yeah, Brooks, you used battery a lot, not Seraph. But maybe you used Seraph too. But I remember you using battery a lot, which I think has some thrusting. It's best with thrusting occasionally. So for this start and certain other areas where you're thrusting, you can curve into what you need to be doing a little bit faster, I think. I want to say that's what the benefit is, but bouncing, it's not so good, I think, is the trade-off. But Seraph has amazing bounces and still very nice thrusting. So that's why everyone seems to like her the best, because the bounces are superb and everything just feels very tight and consistent all around, but bouncing specifically is what she's best at. But yeah, Tempest is what I used for the longest time. I think that's his name, the glitch guy, you know? But I used him for the longest time just because I liked his look. But I found out that he's one of the characters that actually has a ton of glitches with him. So I was just like sliding down to hell very often with him and having lots of those type issues. And didn't know why it happened to me more often, but Tempest would be really good otherwise, I feel like. So if you want to like have it be risky and have a lot of glitch failure opportunities, he is actually pretty nice. He's really nice, but yeah, he gets shot to hell more often and a lot of weird stuff like that. I don't know, maybe certain bounce glitches might not happen as much with him, but I don't care anymore. Profit, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I've gotten very good at avoiding sliding to hell. Like, even now, it's ingrained into me how to avoid it. I can't really logically tell you, but, like, tell you how to do it, but it's whether or not there's a curved edge or a more edgy edge. You have to act slightly differently, I know that. And you want to curve, you want to slide off at, like, an angle. You don't want to go straight off very often, or like certain angles within here. It's just, you end up learning and feeling it. I sometimes get slightly shot to hell, but I can't remember the last time I was actually shot straight down. That also might be a Seraph thing. But in its place, I think Seraph also eats your slide input off the edge a little bit more often than others. But in total, I think the benefit of slightly better bounces is good. Because you can be a bit more consistent at the four walls thing with this character and a few others as well. The overdrive guy might actually be the best, if I remember correctly. I have no idea, though. But there's super slight differences. I'm probably making it seem like they're more obvious, but it's like very slight frame differences that are hardly impactful, but they might be much more impactful on PC, because you can go higher frame rate, but then again, they might not be impactful at all, because what's happening is different characters might actually affect your frame rate on console, whereas on PC, that's not as much of an issue. So I don't know. There's lots of things that I've never quite figured out that I thought were options and things that would be a good idea to test, but at the same time, they were kind of secretive, and I didn't want to ruin the secret for certain people, and yeah, I don't know. Woo! No, there is no G-slide in the game. There's certain things that can sometimes act like a G-slide, but it's not anything to do with actual button inputs. It's the way that you land on certain things in maps. So in free run, it's something that you can't really do. Sometimes if I'm really low crossing the barrier, you'll see me kind of bump it and hop because of that. I don't think it really affects my speed any, but I land further and it'll look like I'm slower, but it's just because I land later and I'm not really actually slower. But yeah, bumping certain objects in certain ways can sometimes in multiplayer actually speed you up on certain slopes, if you get that to happen, and it'll bounce you and act a lot like a G-slide. I think I made a couple videos of it in the past, not really explaining it, but videos that had it in them at least, just for fun, pointing it out. but whatever. No, G-Slide, my baby. Even though I wasn't the one to name it, I was the mother, and the father named it, which, you know, I don't even know the father's name. You know, he ran off, like, immediately while I was birthing the baby. He was in my chat, in my live stream at the time, and he provided the name, G-Slide. But yeah, no, if anyone's the father, it would be Scholastica, though. Because both Scholastica and I knew about the G-Slide, but he got very good evidence, a very good clip of it happening, for us to uncover exactly what's happening when the G-Slide happens. And we were able to, actually, I was able to decipher how it worked because of his clip. And we discovered it in stream, and that was awesome. And I remember, before I even knew exactly how to do it properly, I got it 2 times in a row and thought I understood it perfectly, and then I couldn't do it for forever. Ooh! Almost got a decent bounce that if it was somehow perfect, I might have landed in the middle of the platform and basically fixed my whole speed issue there and tied myself. But whatever. In my movement documentation video, I did not put everything. I put everything of importance in there, but there's a few little tiny tricks, like the F slide, for example, and just weird things that I left out. I just put the basic, the things that actually have an effect on gameplay. That's what I put in. And I think I probably still missed stuff, and I planned on doing a comparison with Infinite Warfare, but it turned out to be too trash of a game for me to want to do anything with it. But somehow, I still managed to get 4 prestiges on it before finally deciding that it sucks. Or sucks too much to play. Yeah, I also had a 3 KD and a 6.5 win-loss. At one point, my win-loss was nearing an 8. And I played solo all the time, so that's quite good. But that's also the reason why my KD isn't higher, is because I care about the win much more than anything else. The most hype moment in free run? Ooh, there were a lot. I'm gonna be very egotistic and say that they all had to do with me. And probably you, Brooks, as well, but I was definitely involved in everything. I got pretty much all of the milestones. I'm really happy about that. I forget which ones I didn't have. Like maybe the sub 130 on alpha, the first one, is that the one I didn't have? Or the sub 130 on blackout, I think I technically didn't have, but the first on console. But I had a lot of milestones that I got, and I edited those with nice music, and it was synced really well. I care a lot about editing things to the music and having good feel and rhythm with it. I don't do much in terms of special editing techniques or anything like that, but the timing of things I care very, very much about. Yeah, I did say that I had no idea what it was. But yeah, I think it was Blackout Sub 130 that I missed out on. And if you had first, that I wouldn't doubt that. I believe you on that. First console, anyway.
Free run. Free run. Free run.
Yeah, Tyler got the first one on PC, but I mean, he was kind of cheating because, yeah, but not really, but I mean, yeah. Yeah, let me try to be really consistent here.
Objective.
Aw.
Redo.
I mean, it was gonna be low, but I thought I had it still. Ooh. Barely got up there. Ooh. Okay, I really gotta get this first try more often. But a lot of the time it'll eat my slide input, and I'm too nervous about preventing that I don't end up doing this part correctly anyway. There's just a lot you gotta watch out for here, and I'm not quite remembering fully what those are. I'm starting to get it a little bit, but eh. Yeah, I think I probably had more 124 chokes than you, Brooks. But I definitely have you beat because I've had one or two 123 chokes. So, even if I don't have more in total, ooh. But yeah, I kind of want to, like, I wish I could go back to some really old attempts that I used to do, like time travel back to those, because I didn't show a lot of attempts that I got. There were a lot of really good attempts that a lot of people would probably enjoy, and I probably should have posted. I just didn't really think of them. Like, I didn't think much of them. Undone was the only one that I thought I should post because it got so far, but it wasn't even the best pace I've ever had. It just got further than everything else, and it died in a fun way. So it worked well with the music. I really liked how the editing worked out with that, and it just made a lot of sense to do. I jumped, but it bounced me away because I jumped while I was still on the corner of the wall because I got greedy and I don't know how to be safe anymore. Didn't grab the Drakon that time. I feel like it's kind of like style points to grab the Drakon, so I always try to barely nab it. But, even though I used to say that technically, oh, it's fastest to actually have the Drakon because it's in my path. When you spawn, when you do like the fault thing and respawn there, you want to basically just barely miss it instead. But, I mean, if you lose a couple frames because you're trying to nab the Drakon for style points, and then you're distracted by going for style, that you actually do everything correctly because you're in the zone and you're like, ooh, going for style points like normal, like always, this is cool, this is fun. It just helps out with consistency, I feel like. And I've grabbed the Drakon much more than I've not grabbed it, so it might freak me out if I don't actually grab it a little bit. Aww, I bounced. You heard the bounce. Oh, that was terrible. I didn't bounce soon enough. Yeah, another thing is I need to thrust sooner after my bounce there as well. I do kind of like a bounce thrust, but I need to be more like bounce thrust, like that. As well. It makes it slightly faster, slightly more consistent. And that's important. Although I think every time you do something like that, it gradually lags the game more and more, actually. And you get more things like hover bounces, and your inputs for things don't go in right when doing things like that. Yeah, didn't get far enough, had to slide there. You see how much slower that is to have to slide? Like, if you get far, I want to get far and not slide. Yeah, that was a really late technique that somehow we just never learned for a while. If Brooks is still here, he can attest to that. Alright, see ya. Okay. Oh. There we go.
Free run.
But yeah, Cirques, you gotta get that sub 130 if you are interested anyway in doing that. Cause I think you're the lowest time that isn't sub 130, I wanna say. Or you're close anyway.
Free run.
Didn't get a very far thrust there. It looks like I'm ahead. Ooh, because the checkpoint time. But no, I was way behind. And next checkpoint, I was going to be like 0.5 behind. That's how bad it was. Because you want to actually get kind of, or at least compared to my current thing, you want to get a late checkpoint here and thrust more. Like, that was 0.4 behind, and I landed late, and I'm 0.3 behind here. I didn't have enough thrust, though. Shouldn't have landed quite that late, or used less boost as well. Mainly that. Yeah, a lot of people care a lot more than they should about the checkpoint times.
Free run.
And that's always annoyed me.
Free run.
Like, watch this. Watch this. Oh, didn't do it. Let me just do it a more consistent way that I can do. I can get like a second ahead. So
Free run.
this is a very obvious example of why checkpoint times are not to be completely trusted. Oh, 0.1 ahead. But you can see that I landed way later. I want to get a very good example of it, because it's hilarious. I gotta remember the strat. There we go, 0.4 ahead. Oh, so much faster, right? Ugh. Nope. That was a bad landing where it should have been showing very far ahead, but ugh. And I might even be ahead here right now if I get good. Nope. Okay. But yeah, apparently there's a way to go around the left of the barrier and still be ahead. And I know that there's a way that I've tested where it basically ties,
Free run.
but it's much more inconsistent to do, and I don't think it actually can get ahead anyways. And I don't know what the way is that apparently is better, but I've tested a lot of ways myself, and I'm pretty sure it's not better. But, you know, I'm open, I guess, but I'm not open to really change my strategy too much, because it doesn't matter. I can get a 123 potentially with my current strats, so I mean, hey. If I have a TAS-like performance, I could even get a 122, but I think this game is so inconsistent, though, that, like, it literally is just random sometimes if a glitch happens. It's not really random, but, like, if your speed...
Objective free run.
Because the game tops out at 60 FPS, if your speed is that where it's a very certain point where it's registering your location each frame,
Free run.
like, I don't know how to explain this, but there can be, like, mid-frame nonsense going on where if you could have more frames per second, like on PC, you could still time things correctly on the available frames, but if you have a certain speed and you don't have a high enough frame rate to capture the moment that you need to do something, then there literally might not be a frame at all in which you can do certain things. And that's why PC is a lot better, not just because frame rate can enhance your bounces sometimes and certain things like that, but it can be more consistent too, because you have more frames to work with for more possible points at which your timing can be allowed. I hope I explained that well enough, but I probably didn't. Not quite, but whatever.
Free run.
Yeah, I'm on box if you're talking to me. I don't think you are, though.
Free run. Free run.
Okay, that's a much better timing situation. For the start there.
Free run.
Had to do a little bit of improvisation there. Then my slide input got eaten. But yeah, one nice thing about slide inputs being eaten is you can avoid it sometimes if your boost is recharging. If your boost is in the middle of recharging still, and you slide off the edge, your input for sliding will be eaten less often. So if on 4 walls, or right before it, if somehow I'm still recharging just before reaching the edge, that is optimal. I have to be almost finished charging to have still enough boost to do the thing, but also be able to get to the very edge and still feel comfortable sliding, because I'll know that my input will not be eaten nearly as often. There's lots of little things like that which I don't understand how they couldn't figure out what the difference is in the code and make, like, I don't know, there might be certain shortcuts being used in the code to make it so that it still runs smoothly even though it's sloppy, kind of sloppy, weird coding. But I like to imagine that for AAA titles, such as Call of Duty, they hire really bad people to design their games, because that's really what it seems that they're doing. It's actually that they just hire a lot of people And the more people you have working on something, the harder it is to actually get anything done, or at least get things done correctly. And especially if there's power struggles between people too, like, ugh. It's gross. Yeah, I pretty much always get shotgun part. I want to relearn how to do it even better, though. Oops. Because what you just saw there, even though it was very good, it's not the best. There's a better way, slightly. But that's, again, if I actually do this often, which lately I feel like I want to. That was decent, but not good enough. I want to come at this at more of an angle. That'll help relieve my stress with the input. Yeah, okay, I remember a strategy now, just going through that in my head. Yeah, so you do slide down straight to hell more. If your slide is regenerating, I'll say that, but your input being eaten happens less often. I will agree to that, Cirx. But yeah, so a strategy that I used to have was I'd be really far left here and actually just take the time to go diagonally and have a good setup, which takes like a 0.1, maybe even 0.2 time off my thing to set it up that way. Sometimes it would work a little bit nicer and I'd come in like this and actually like curve myself just a little bit, but coming in at this angle where I'm basically at this line and aiming with the middle of my screen at the very edge of the wall, basically. Maybe a little left of the wall. I remember that strat very well, and I became very consistent with that. Yeah, maybe like that angle, I want to say. And I got very consistent with this setup. It was very nice so that I don't have to worry about the slide input thing messing up. Because you do have to slide like right on the edge to get maximum speed. But... or maximum strafe speed, I should be more specific. But... yeah, and I'm trying multiple things right here while testing. I'm not just doing what I said, because I'm actually like relearning completely. I'm not just blindly doing what I'm telling myself. You should never blindly do what anyone tells you, especially if you're telling it to yourself. You should always discover and find out all of the reasons why it is so. That was very good. That was very slick and nice. Very little lost time. I'm not doing any challenges right now. How did I find everything that I found? Well, as I play, which, first of all, I play a lot. I play a lot of games, but I'm very conscious and aware of everything that's happening in games. My awareness in games is very high. Like, when you think of, like, awareness in professional gaming, not the perk, but, like, understanding everything that's happening all at once without the need of callouts and stuff like that, just by using the information that you could possibly see all in one moment. I am very good at that, and I can feel what's happening. I can understand the exact things, the exact, like, how I'm causing things to happen very often. A lot of it is through repetition, but because of this, it makes me really smart and knowledgeable of stuff, but I'm a little bit less technically skilled than you might think. Because even though I understand what to do, I struggle sometimes to be perfectly consistent with it. So that's the trade-off. That's, you know, I've gotten a lot better in games like Rocket League at just being super consistent with stuff, and Rocket League has been forcing me to do that, which is kind of why I want to go back and learn this, because I feel like that's always been my weak point, is being able to do exactly what I want to do. Like, I can understand it, but can I replicate it all the time? And I feel like I'm a lot better at that part of gaming because of Rocket League. But because I've spent so much time on Rocket League and games like For Honor, I don't know how to even play Call of Duty correctly, how to use my right stick correctly to aim at things properly. And I'm using a higher sensitivity right now than I probably normally would as well. And I don't quite remember the logic perfectly behind all the things that I have to do in free run, so I gotta relearn that from scratch as well. But I think in the end, I should be able to get a 124 at some point if I keep this up. Maybe even in like a week, I'll be consistent enough to seriously go for it. If I actually do this like every day. You know? I feel like that's manageable, even. I mean, you might say in just a week. I mean, you were doing this for so long before, but I feel like if I can get back to the consistency of where I was when I left off, I feel like I am much better, much more capable now, and I'm much more relaxed now than ever before. Ooh, that's one of the original fastest ways of doing that, if you saw. I did just one little quick strafe at the end there. That was cool. That's a flashback for me. That's one of the original fastest ways that I thought was good. But the way that I've been talking about more often in these streams, in both streams now, is better. Getting further and not sliding at all on those glass. Yeah, I've been talking a lot. Let me catch up on your comments. So yeah, I've been invited to many clans. I was actually in a YouTube pub stomping clan at one point. I was initially a gameplay guy, but because I refused to reverse boost because that's fucking stupid, I couldn't quite achieve everything that everyone else was able to, because they were against people that had absolutely no thumbs, and occasionally I would play alongside them, and their stats would still affect me super hard. And I remember getting triple DNA bombs a couple times while playing with them, and I hardly played with them too. It was just that easy. Triple DNA bombs in Advanced Warfare, because it was that easy to do when you were even just alongside reverse boosters. And it really embarrassed me, because whenever they played alongside me, like, our stats would combine and we'd go against like a middle ground of skill between us, and they would not be able to get any DNA bombs when with me, but I'd still get triples. Like, what the hell, man? So because of all that, because of that stupidity, I ended up not being able to get enough gameplays for them, and I ended up being a commentator. But we ended up dying out and we made a new clan that then died out pretty quickly as well. Because not because they didn't do well, they did pretty decent, all of them, but just everybody lost interest. But yeah, the second one, I actually was a co-leader. I was pretty much, like, I did slightly less work, but I still feel like I'm pretty much the founder of that. I made the name of it and everything as well, but I'm not going to tell any of you guys.
Free run. Free run.
But yeah, and I've been invited to competitive teams for professional gaming as well in the past, but again, people's ambitions get lost, and I'm not a good person to keep the social health alive sometimes, because I will complain about the social health, and then it'll only get worse. And I'll make people more aware that there is a problem, and then they'll get mad that there's a problem as well, because I pointed it out. And it's just basically pointing out people's anger. And, well, funny thing, when you tell people that they're angry, it doesn't fix their anger. You know, I thought it would, but, no, it doesn't. But yeah, mentality is a huge part of professional gaming. You gotta keep your anger in check, yo. Start becoming very inconsistent at things, and you make bad decisions. Oh, I bounced on the corner a little too hard. Ooh, almost made it. That was a pretty good example of me not having my boost fully recharged and still pretty much doing it correctly. That was pretty much, that was very well timed. I really liked that, but whatever. But yeah, I've always liked Call of Duty, and I've always been very good at it ever since Black Ops 1.
Let's do better this time, shall we?
At that point, I very quickly accelerated. But, yeah, it's just... Yeah, and I think what made me good at it is my ability to be aware of everything that's happening. And I've always been good at learning games very quickly, just learning anything very quickly. I've always been good with that. But in terms of being a little bit more perfect with dexterity and doing exactly what's required, I'm a little bit behind the best. But I don't think it would be too egotistical to say that I'm pretty much the best you'll find at learning things fast. I think that's pretty accurate to say without trying to boast too much. Ugh. And, like, that goes with adapting mid-game and improvising to not just learning from scratch. Why can't I do this? Talking too much. Okay. You gotta get right on the edge there to do it properly. And sometimes I think I'm close enough when I'm not. Oh, that was awkward. I'm not high enough. Yeah, triple burst wasn't gonna cut it. But yeah, no, I don't really have any interest in other maps, just Blackout. Yeah, this is not a tutorial stream. Occasionally I will mention things as I think of them and as they are important to me, but I'm not going to go out of my way to explain everything. I have a couple videos on stuff if you really want to search, but yeah. Oh, I thought I was close enough. I just passed it. Looked like I pretty much went through the corner, but no, I wasn't close enough to even touch it. I always struggle to do that part, getting a quad burst and still keeping good speed. I've always struggled at the very beginning, being quite as fast as I want to be. And sometimes I'll just knock it out, but I have no idea how I do it so well those times, though, even when I analyze it. It's the rhythm of thrusting that I gotta get better at. Let me try something here. That felt a lot better. Because I'm always so procedural with the way that I thrust, but in this situation, it's not such a generic, just do what you normally do for thrusting. Do what you would do in multiplayer every time. There's a slight different need for the pace in your thrust in this spot to get more time, like less time wasted on the thrusting part and more time spent on, or like getting to the bouncing part faster. Sorry. Yeah, I am still in touch with Brooks. At least until like a month ago, I talked to him pretty much every day. But I don't think he's on the box very often. Either that or he's just appearing offline. I used to really like playing Rocket League with him. Because he's also a fast learner. And with Rocket League, you really gotta be a fast learner and be dedicated. But the really good thing about Brooks is that he's not just a fast learner, he's also very good at being consistent with technical skill. He might not be quite as logical as I am, but as long as someone else is taking care of the logic for him, he can copy that pretty much perfectly. Like, if he had to create his own strats sometimes, he's not top tier. It's pretty close, but again, I'm going like super perfectionist in my comparisons. It's like, for technical skill and learning speed, he is A+. But for logic and strat making, A-. That kind of thing. Whereas for me, it's logic and strat making A+, learning A+, sometimes maybe an A because I'm stubborn, but so not quite an A+. But you know, if I'm focusing, and on top of that, A+. But then my technical skill is like an A-. Maybe even a B+ sometimes.
Free run. Free run.
But yeah, the four walls, doing it perfectly is very hard to do. It is much easier on PC, that's where it was found, and then it had to be adapted to console through a lot of work by me and I want to say Evan Capano. I think we both worked on trying to make it work on console really hard, and he's on PS4.
Free run.
I haven't talked to him in a long time, but yeah.
Free run. Free run. Free run.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, Tim. You're the only one complaining about it, I think. So it might just be you. It was lagging earlier though, but I mean, I don't have the best ability to stream at high quality anyway, so this might just be the best we got. Oh,
Free
that
run.
sucked.
Free run.
There was something I was doing before stream.
Free run.
For this part to make it much better. Hang on, let me get in the zone here. Oh, the bounce. Ugh. Ugh. Everything downhill, but that's one of the best starts in a while.
3 seconds.
So that really speaks volumes about how hard it is to talk and play at the same time at a very high level. Ooh. Yeah, those first 20 seconds were really good when I wasn't talking, if you didn't notice. Because not only was I getting late landings, but those late landings, they were pretty late. They were decent. They weren't the latest they should have been necessarily. But even though they were decently late, they were ahead by a good amount too. Safe strand there because I didn't have enough boost, but I want to get really consistent at this because this is the most key point of the run. If I can make this, I can make a record happen. Might not be much of a record at this point in my skill, but if I can make this every single time I get to it, I can make a record happen. Ugh. Sorry about the noise in the background. That was good. I didn't leave quite as much boost as I would like. Ah.
Objective.
Yeah, they never should have added the blood rain. Like, I feel like that makes this map more inconsistent. And I think they made snow on infected as well. Like, come on. Like, really? You could see the pattering on the ground. Why did you have to also make blood fall from the sky too? Because then now that's also making my stream, like, it makes it much more intensive to actually have to think about that and discard it when it needs to, or actually show it at the cost of making everything else look bad. That's just, ugh. Ugh. But yeah, I know what a lot of the possible issues for the stream could be right now, and it's not something I can fix. It's just my laptop is not good enough for streaming. So, ugh. That was almost good, but that was weird. Okay, one of the main things I gotta get down is thrusting like immediately after. Yeah, look at how much better that was. Thrusting immediately after. That was kind of a fluke, honestly. But thrusting immediately after my bounce there. Not waiting a slight moment and being all rhythmic. Being all melodic with my movements. Ugh. Yeah, I'm too musical. And that's a lot of the reason, I think, why I struggle sometimes with my technical skill. Is I think very musically a lot. And my patterns, my habits, take a lot of musical themes. Ooh, would have mantled that. It didn't work. Oh, hey, Evan. I was just talking about you a little earlier. Ooh, hoo, hoo. Okay, I think as long as I concentrate more on jumping early, or thrusting early after the bounce there, that should alone help me a lot. That was decent glass, but again, that's old strat.
Try harder.
And now it's really old strat. What the hell did I just do there? Yeah, there's probably some time saved that I can do here. Doing something like that very quickly, but it's kind of inconsistent. Because getting like super fast thrust speed here and not bonking your head, but still having enough thrust to get where you need to be, like, you gotta be very accurate. And I like leaving just a little bit of thrust to redirect myself at the very end so that I can hit that checkpoint better. But I'm still struggling to figure out where it is some of the time. I'm going too far when I'm thinking about just touching the edge a little bit better. And then when I'm thinking about not going too far, I don't touch the edge. I'm just bad at that part. And when I'm in a run, muscle memory will take over a little bit more. So, I mean, don't worry too much. Yeah, I just gotta build my consistency back. And talking, while it might not be helping in the moment, talking through everything is definitely helping, no matter what, anyway. It makes it more habitual, the things that I'm doing when it goes right.
Free run.
Oh, let me restart that, because I'm gonna start being a little bit more picky about my start here. Ugh. Got 3 bounces there because I'm weird. And yeah, so I just said I was gonna be more picky about my start, and then I just kind of did a bad one and kept going. I like lying a lot. That's, you know, that's a thing that I do. I don't mean to. I don't know. When I'm telling the truth, my brain goes, no, you like lying, remember? Now we're gonna intentionally do the opposite of what I was saying, because lying is fun.
Free run. Free run.
Hang on.
Try harder. Free run. Free run. Free run.
Okay, I'm back.
Free run. Free run. Free run.
Yeah, I've been good. I've been good, yeah. You know, going through, some existential crises, but other than that, I mean, you know me, every other day, like half my life has always been spent in an existential crisis, so I mean,
Free run.
you might know that better than most people I know over the internet. I think I used to talk to you about that a little bit.
Free run.
Stop talking in other languages. You know, a lot of streams ban that kind of, because, we want a healthy stream that, everyone can communicate with themselves, everyone, Man, my starts are getting worse. Oh my god. That was good, though. That was bad, though.
Free run.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do right now but the stream lagging. I'm sorry.
Free run.
My laptop isn't good enough. I just closed a program on my computer, but
Free run.
I don't think that's gonna help it any. Hardly, but, potentially a little bit. Just a little bit. And if that seriously was the problem, and it's, like, all better now,
Free run.
that's gonna really annoy me, because I had Photoshop open in my last stream, and apparently it was perfect.
Free run.
In this one, I have, like, nothing running, and it's struggling. So I have no clue.
Free run.
Yeah, Photoshop is pretty intensive on my computer sometimes, so I have no idea how the last stream had no problems, or very few. Oh my god.
Free run. Free run. Redo.
Oh, at the beginning of the stream I was saying I would restart early and often. But I haven't restarted this yet. I haven't felt any problems though. But now that I'm looking for them, I did just actually see a problem. You do not want me to lower the quality anymore. The only manageable options to change at this point that would actually do anything would make it a lot worse, actually. But I can restart OBS because I really do think that it's trying to do too much at once right now because I changed to certain options, so that could fix it. But yeah, so tell me if I should restart OBS. That will put me off stream for a little bit, but only like 30 seconds.
Free run.
Is it that important that I should do that? Ooh, that was really good. If you saw what I did there.
Free run.
Oh, and then it ate my slide input. Okay, I'm gonna try to fix it then. I'll be back.
Free run.
Alrighty.
Free run.
Yeah, if this doesn't work, I might just stop the stream. Some days it feels like when I used to stream in the past, like some days my laptop would be really efficient and other days it would just not work at all. And it's literally like if I just restart it, it gives a new chance. Like like every time I restart my laptop or turn it on, it's like, ooh, let's randomize a number between 1 and 10, and depending on what the number is how well it'll run today. Oh my god, my slide input there. But yeah, if I have to, like, if the problem's still happening, I'm just gonna stop the stream entirely and that'll be it. And depending on if some of my friends are on, I might just want to stop the stream anyway. And get some real recording done, possibly, for YouTube. And my skill is deteriorating, but, I mean, I also should have restarted the game by now. Yeah, and the problem with people giving their own input on whether or not the stream's working fine is a lot of the time it is person to person and it's the viewer's fault too. But yeah. So maybe the stream's not shit, but you're shit, beast mode. It also might be YouTube and delivering the stream differently to different people, potentially in different regions. Oh, great! The one time I'm behind is when I get that. Well, and I could have done it better, but I was complaining. I could have actually made it. Gotten a sub 130. Yeah.
Free run.
But yeah, the stream would be better for everyone if I just had a better computer to have better options for it, but it's on really weird options right now to accommodate for my computer's inability to do stuff. But even though it's kind of weird, it's pretty much the best options available to me. And it still works out most of the time. And if I just change it slightly, it actually works really well for recording still, but that's not how I normally like to record video, but it would work really well for if I ever wanted to do face cam recording. It'd be a really easy way without having to have an editing software that I don't have, because I don't have any editing software besides Windows Live Movie Maker. Yeah, see you, Evan. Hang on. Sorry. But yeah, I've been rewatching a lot of my old montages lately in my montage playlist. Like, every once in a while, I'll go back to them. And some of them are terrible, but I still keep them in the montage playlist because I like the memory of it. And even the terrible ones have some really nice moments in it.
Free run.
Not because of gameplay necessarily, but because of... Like, all of the gameplay is pretty good, but
Free run.
the editing is pretty poor in some places. And the recording quality wasn't quite as good. But one of my favorite montages I made was No Excuses Be Crazy. And it's a Ghosts montage, Call of Duty Ghosts. And it's great. It uses a very flamboyant, fun song. And the clips are great. And the editing is slick. Nothing special, but slick. Ooh, that was bad. Yeah, and then second to that would be Datages, question mark. So, Datages? That's also another good one. That one, the editing is not so good, but I just love the clips. And, I mean, the pace of the editing, maybe, in the song. Yeah, I don't plan on doing the infected world record, although potentially if I do actually get Blackout in a reasonable time and get what I want here, then, I mean, I guess maybe I'll still want to play free run and I'll go for that, but probably not. The only thing I'll be doing is occasionally I'll feel inspired to play Blackout. And this might be the last stream, who knows? But, yeah. And I always want to do it streaming. I think that would be good, to stream all progress that I do along the way, whenever I do this. There we go. I think that would be fun. Ooh. Oh my god. I am suck. I think the problem is I need to grab the Drakon. I think the Drakon's helping me at this part. I think I really need to have it with me. Or else I'm not going to be able to mantle up, you see? I gotta get that Drakon magic.
Free run.
But yeah. So, in terms of montages, if you want to go to my playlists on my channel and find those, No Excuses Be Crazy and Datages, question mark. Those are some really good montages that I really like. There's other montages that are better in terms of actually being a montage, like Audacity and yeah, others. RW1 montage, Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare montages. Those are short and sweet. The what was it? Space Lime Gunsync in Ghosts even. That was fun to make. But some of my favorites, which are actually like super underviewed compared to how good they are in my mind, are No Excuses Be Crazy and Datages, question mark. Oh, missed it. Yeah, I think even if I'm behind at this point, I can catch up and still get a decent time by the end. I'm not sure though. I think just doing 4 walls I can save some time, maybe. And glass.
Let's do better this time, shall we?
And technically everything at the end, but I have no idea what exactly I might need to do for that. Ooh, got it on the right side. Yeah, because my muscle memory isn't quite good enough to understand the logic behind doing certain things, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm piecing things together. Becoming more consistent. Oh. I hate when you respawn and you don't quite have full sprint speed sometimes. And it's not even that it's full sprint speed, it's like full sprint pressure speed. Like you can get a better jump out of your sprint, I think, if you're if you have full speed built up. But that speed, or whatever we're calling it, whatever we should call it, is not actual like distance traveling speed, but just time sprinting. And that affects how good your jump is. It affects height, I know that. And I think it affects... I don't think it actually affects the speed and distance of the jump, but how well you can convert it into a thrust for speed on the thrust, I think, is what it does. There's lots of little things. Lots of little things about this game that I'm starting to remember. Yeah, I don't react. I'm very calm. Any reaction that I do is just playing up for the drama. So if you look back in really old videos, I probably didn't react very often or very well. Sometimes I might go like, woo! Just to be weird and act excited because people want me to. If I'm feeling it. But I'm never gonna do it just to do it. It'll have to be at least somewhat genuine for me to do it, so it's never entirely just faking it. Nothing I do, unless I hardly anything I ever do is like just completely faking it. But you know, everything's at least somewhat genuine. But yeah, I don't have emotions like normal people do. Oh, I got like a missing thrust thing. Like it started thrusting, but then it stopped the thrust because it knew that I was bouncing, but I wasn't bouncing. That thing. I don't know how to explain it. Oh, yeah, I think I've said stuff like yes, maybe. Yeah, that feels like past me. Maybe not now, but that feels like me from a year and a half ago. Oh my god, slightly shot to hell. Free run. Yeah, that's how you spell Norwegian. Free run. I believe, anyway, as far as I'm aware. I'm now starting to second guess myself a little bit. Oh yeah, that's what you want there. Good enough. Oh, it ate my slide input. Are you serious? 0.5 ahead. I mean, it was probably more like an actual 0.3 ahead, but after I was finished with 4 walls, I would probably do it fast enough to be a real 0.5 ahead compared to my other run. If I actually made it, of course, which I'm struggling right now to do it correctly. Yeah, it'll eat my slide input, and then I will just walk off the edge and thrust like an idiot, but I press the slide button very early. There's no mistake, that's just how this game plays. That's what makes it really annoying to go for good records in this. And makes me hesitant to do other speedruns, because I don't know if other games are really this terrible in terms of consistency or not. I want to say probably not, because this game is very online based, and that can cause extra problems. But yeah, I want to say it's really inconsistent, but maybe that's just me being ignorant and too skeptical about the possible skill of some people in other games. But yeah, I don't know. I might end the stream here soon. Just as a forewarning. I want to get a few good things of this. That was actually really good. That surprised me how good that was. Ooh, a little bit of frame drops there. You guys won't be able to see it because you're watching in 30 FPS. That is probably always dropping because it's a live stream and my computer sucks. But yeah, I want to try to get 3 in a row. That would have landed. Yeah, I could have done that better, the bounce better. Ah, why can't I get good bounces on that one? Coming from the right too much, I think. Because if you come from the right, you want to like really come from the right, not just a little bit, because then you'll clip wrong. Oh, it clipped me back to the wall in a weird way, because I was trying to do it too much left. This is why I'm really jealous of PC, because there's so many more frames if you have a good computer. You can put it up to 144 frames per second, which is... yeah, but you can put it up to that, for instance, which allows it to register your actions at all points, not just every 60th of a second, but at all points from every 144th of a second. As long as it's consistent, it's that much. But even if it's inconsistent, it's more than 60. God. And it's not even that, like, you need a monitor to see what's happening and respond to it that way. No, it's just your computer needs to register all those frames. So like going to 250 frames per second, it helps. It helps. It helps more. Certain frame points have certain effects to how it might affect the game's code, though. So you might be able to get better bounces for being exactly on 144, for example, maybe. And then the next one that'll do that is if you can be a consistent 225 or something like that, you get even better bounces, or the same, but it's a higher frame rate, so more consistency. Like, there's certain things like that that allowing a change in frame rate can do. And then if games aren't built well, Infinite Warfare, and they just drop frames all the time, stupid things happen all the time. Infinite Warfare, and it's not an enjoyable viewing experience either to play the game. Everything just looks trash too. Infinite Warfare drops frames constantly. It's so annoying. And if an explosion goes off, ugh, it's the worst. Okay, 1. I'm 20 years old, by the way. Okay. I'm only gonna go for 2 in a row now. This is taking forever. Sorry. I mean, I'm getting it often enough to be reasonable to still do it in a run with my current skills, I guess. And just go for chance. And muscle memory will hopefully take over and do it. Well, okay, that's 1. Yeah, it's also getting much more frame drops and inconsistencies. The bobble when you run feels weirder now too. That's a sign that you gotta... These are all signs that you gotta restart the game for better consistency. Because I've been playing too long. So, I mean... Maybe I am good still, but yeah, whatever. Okay, I'm trying too many slightly different things because I'm a freak. Ooh, shot to hell a little bit there. Yeah, I can tell my skill is deteriorating a bit. Ooh, saved it a little bit there. That doesn't count. Okay, 1. Damn it. But yeah, the second bounce that you do is often better if you bounce a little bit later than the point that you land. Because with so much height that you get in landing, the animation for sticking yourself onto the wall is often much longer than normal because it's trying to slow you down to the wall, and it takes longer. The animation actually takes longer. So you can get an even better jump by timing your bounce with the animation. So if the animation is slower, you have to time your jump later. And because of that extra time that it allows, it can really extend your jump distance and the power that you can get out of it sometimes. And that's kind of required here. Ugh. But yeah, normally, under normal circumstances, you're not even going to notice the animation because it's so fast. It's 1 or 2 frames or whatever. Maybe even that small. But when jumping off of that, you can notice the animation of clinging to the wall a little bit more because you have so much speed to slow down. To explain it again. Scarce is understanding my patterns. He knows what I will and will not answer. Yeah, to keep my sanity, I really just have to ignore certain things. No offense, but Oh, come on. That was good, but I think... Like, my landing could have been a little bit better, but I think even still, there, you know... I need more frames. I need more possible frames to actually get this in. Okay, there. That's one. Damn it. Like, I shouldn't even count those, because... Well, no, I should. Because missing the slide input is still an error. Oh my god. I'm consistently getting glitches. And when that happens, it just demoralizes me and my skill deteriorates. Like that, the slide input was eaten up. Let me... Because I think if it's lagging more, I actually want to be closer. I think I found that out. If I'm being stubborn and I'm staying in the game when it's lagging more. It's more consistent to be slower. And sometimes after a certain point, it's almost even more consistent to have it be lagging at this part, I remember. So I would like let myself stay in a long session to wait for like 3 hours for it to get more consistent just for this part sometimes. But that's really stupid because it's even more consistent to just restart. But I would await that moment because I have no idea when it would happen, but I knew at some point it would happen. And depending on how my skills were, and depending on what I'm doing, I might just zone out and stay super long for this. Okay, that was one. That would have made it. I had to use all my boost, so it was sloppy, but... whatever. Alright, I'm at 130 retries, and I can't get 2 in a row. So... I'm gonna cheat and call that one. Oh, I thought I made it. I wasn't gonna actually cheat on that one. Okay, come on, game. Let's do this. But yeah, there's enough frame drops that I could almost say that it's a consistent 55 frames per second is what it feels like right now. You guys won't be able to tell the difference really, because it's still my stream, and it's on 30 frames per second, but yeah, whatever. But yeah, currently right now, this grossness that I'm seeing that you guys can only hear about, because again, you can't see it how I'm seeing it, but this grossness is like the best you get in Infinite Warfare. That it is so gross on Infinite Warfare. And a lot of people don't seem to see it, but I see it all the time. And it really annoys me that people are somehow fine with that, fine with these things. Like, I see a lot of things in video games that I think are obvious, but just no one knows about except me somehow. Okay. That was good. I'm not gonna count those anymore. If I make it to 2 out, no. I'm just stopping right now. I'll get to 159 retries. Yeah, once I get to 159 retries, I'll stop, guys. Okay, I actually made it there, so I had to do a retry. Yep, okay. That's it, guys. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed whatever. It was kind of lame at the end here. But yeah, if you want to check out those montages again, I'll just say that no excuses be crazy, and datages question mark. Those are, you know, those are my suggestions for today. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. I'll try to make some actual videos for tomorrow, maybe. Yep, that's it for now. See you guys.